Wonderful. So we find ourselves the Or Liyom Ches, the beginning of the 8th day of Nisan. The 8th day of Nisan is very much in synchronization with the month of Nisan itself, because the month of Nisan, as we know, anyone that sees a double nun or Nisan in their dreams, so this person should look forward to seeing Nisei Nisim or Nisei Nisim Na'asuloi. Miraculous miracles have been done for him and will be done for him. And so when we come to the 8th day of Nisan, which is literally the concept of that which is beyond nature, Lamaila Me'ateva, so we see that this particular day brings an even greater escalation in the miracles of the month of Nisan, and as we said before, the miraculous miracles, Nisei Nisim. And apparently, we already saw a preface of all the miracles that we Motzei Shabbos, and they were incredible fireworks in inverted commas. Apparently, the El Aqsa spiritual center of the Muslims bared a brunt of all the fireworks, even though they had different kavanas, they had different intentions coming from Iran. But this is something that we have to go and we have to understand. When Hashem goes and does these miracles for us, it's not that like the in the media they're coming and saying Iran failed. Iran didn't fail. As a matter of fact, the audacity that the Iranians had, there was never such a chutzpah in the history of the creation for them to go and to do. The people all over, news media, generals and armies all over the world, they're saying that there was never such an attack at this type of velocity of bombing and ballistic missiles and the drones. There was never such an attack in the history of the world at this velocity, at this. So to go on to say that Iran failed? No, Iran didn't fail. They came to the level of chutzpah that no other nation ever came in the history of the creation. But we're not giving out compliments to Iran, obviously. We have to understand one thing, and this is the deepest and most important concept in everything that's going on now. That hine lo yonum v'lo yishon shem Yisrael. Behold, the guard of Israel, Hashem, does not sleep and he does not slumber. He doesn't even take a nap. He's consistently watching over us 24 hours a day, 7 days of the week. And the fact that everything went high, everything was peachy, everything was hunky-dory. We 99% of all the attack, everything was intercepted. Does anyone ever think about what this means, intercepted? First of all, we were under attack. And second of all, even the atomic bombs on Hiroshima, that maybe in the potential it was greater, but in the amount of what was shot at us, Motzei Shabbos, Sunday morning, there was never such an amount of explosives in the history of the world. So when we're talking about the protection, how can you have any protection? And if they would have shot, instead of 150 ballistic missiles, 1,500, they have more. They have thousands of ballistic missiles. Who would be able to go into intercept such a thing? B'derech hateva, we're talking about in the channels of nature. It's totally crazy. And other countries, not only did other countries not join into the party of the Iranians, Yimach Shemam, other countries went and assisted Israel. We're talking about countries, our neighbors, Jordan. Jordan, I was just told tonight, Jordan, they have their first of all, the Jordanians, from all the people that things that happened, there were 3 Jordanians that were injured or killed, I don't even know. And there was one young 10-year-old Muslim girl that was injured here in Israel. But in Jordan, over the heavens, over the skies of Jordan, there's a princess. She is one of the top-notch lieutenants in the Jordanian Air Force. She told about how she got into her jet plane and she went up into the sky and she herself shot down 5 drones on her own. We're talking about a Jordanian princess. This is basically what we were talking about last week, and we're coming up to the Shabbos Hagodol, the great Shabbos, this coming Shabbos, the Shabbos before Pesach. And this is the Shabbos that we experienced the miracle 3,330 something years ago. The great miracle of Lemake Mitzrayim Bivchorehem. Hashem went and smote the Egyptians with their firstborn. And firstborn meaning not only the ones that were coming and wanting in their benefit, because Moshe Rabbeinu said Hashem's going to kill all the firstborn. They don't want to die. Why should they die? They're not jihadists. Those Egyptians, they didn't want to die. They didn't want to go with the crazy plan with Paro. But this is exactly what we're talking about. Lemakem Mitzrayim bivchoreim, with their firstborn or with their choice, the choicest, the cream of the crop, the heads, the tops, the generals, the big jet fighter pilots. And who was in this fighter plane? A princess, a Jordanian princess. She is in the Jordanian Air Force. And there were more. Every single country, up to that point, all the countries were going against Israel. And all of a sudden, everything turns around. V'na'afochu. Everything turns upside down, topsy-turvy. And the Americans are shooting down drones and missiles. The British join in, and the French, and Saudi Arabia. Our great friend Saudi Arabia, they also shot down drones. Can anyone explain this to me? There is no explanation other than that these are the great miracles that Hashem is doing for us. And these are the great miracles that are actually representing only the siftach, as they say, the beginning of all the great miracles that we're actually going to be seeing here and now, teichef umiyad, mamish, immediately now. For our story tonight, we're going to see another story, another miracle coming directly from the Igros Kodesh. We all know that Tzfas, as all the municipality centers all over Israel, l'chaim levrocha, ken yevdu kol oyevecha Hashem, so should perish all your enemies, Hashem. L'chaim levrocha, chi Adoneinu Moreinu v'Rabbeinu HaMelech Ha'Moshiach, chai v'kayim lo'elam voed. There were elections for the municipality centers all over Israel. It was a very, very ruckusy occasion because we were smack in the middle of the war, and as we all know, when people are running for elections, so it's not like everyone's petting each other on the head and saying, "Oh, you're a fantastic guy. You really deserve to be the mayor." And if I win, so what can I do? Doesn't work like that in elections. As we know, in elections, everyone is unfortunately at each other's throats. And they're going out with blasphemy against the other guy and against the other party. They did this, they didn't do this. Everyone has tinus. Everyone is complaining about the other. Not only that, but they're going out and really we came from Tazria, which is talking about saras, leprosy. We're in the parsha this week of Mitzera. The whole concept of Lashon Hara. This is what we're talking about. This is what elections is all about, unfortunately. And so when we're seeing all types of posters that are going up all over town, I mean, our town is just one of all the other towns in Eretz Yisrael. This one's picture, this one's saying like one thing, this one's saying another thing. We're not surprised to see when people go and they speak what they speak, even if it's chas v'sholom lashon hara. And lashon hara is not talking about another person saying fallacies, saying lies. It's talking the truth. But if it's done in a manner in order to go and to put down the other person, so then it's lashon hara. We're not, person's not allowed to say. Jew's not allowed to open their mouth in that manner. In the middle of this entire tumult, a person who we know already his name because Rabbi Yossi Kakun, Reb Yossi Kakun, who is today the mayor of Tzfas, he was running in the elections, and he really didn't know what direction the elections are going to take him. And with all the with all the figures going on, with all the other people that were much better, well known than him, he decided that within the entire ruckus of the elections, there's one thing that he has to set aside time to do, and this is the prime time, and he has to do it before the elections. He has to do it now, while everything is going on. What does he have to do? He has to write the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach and ask for a bracha, ask for a blessing for in order to win the elections and to become mayor. Reb Yossi, he was quite learned in regard to where to find a set of the Rebbe's letters, and he was instructed as to how to write the letter to the Rebbe. He wrote the letter to the Rebbe, and he opened up. I'll read the answer that the Rebbe gave him inside, and we'll translate it. The answer the Rebbe gave him was in volume 18, and it was letter Igeres 6,773. It wasn't 770, it was 773. And the letter reads as follows: that which your honor writes at the end of his letter, that the tension is going to get greater. The pressure is going to get greater as we draw closer to the time of the elections, without even mentioning any type of expression in regard to the fact that it's a pity. What a pity it is in regard to this type of occurrence, that there's going to be pressure, that there's going to be tension. This is, the Rebbe says, this is a painful occurrence. The fact that you didn't even write any type of a buffering good word as to what a pity it is. This is adding pain upon pain. Ki milvad etzem ha'inyan hamadiv, for besides the actual concept which is causing pain, shel pirud halavoves, in regard to the splitting of and the separation of hearts, asher kidvarav oid olu lahagbir, as he says, as this person says in his letter, this might even bring a greater tension, greater pressure of the separation of hearts. Beyond this, together with this, it seems that you are totally totally oblivious to the factor and to this concept and to this occurrence, as though it just is, it's a natural occurrence. What can you do? That's the way Hashem created the world. Then the Rebbe ends off and says as follows: and now that we're coming from the holiday of Purim, when Haman went and had the desire to destroy the entire Jewish nation, bli chiluk vehevdel, without any separation, without any differentiation. Shemitoch kach bo hadgufa etzel haYehudim, and it is from this that came the result from the Jewish nation. Gamken lech knesses kol haYehudim, go and gather all the Jews, bli chiluk, without any differentiation between one Jew, another Jew. All the Jews have to be rallied. All the Jews have to be brought together. Yehi rotzen, says the Rebbe, may it be Hashem's will, shenizke li'is'erus shel knesses kol haYehudim, that we should merit the awakening of going and gathering all the Jews together, b'iskashlus la'akadosh baruch Hu, in a manner of bonding with the Holy One, blessed be He, k'mei b'mei Mordechai ve'Esther, like in the days of Mordechai and Esther, the choved u'bevracha, with honor and respect. Now, once a person gets a letter like this, it doesn't really go two ways. It's very clear. It's very upfront. It's straightforward. But a person gets a letter, and they can say, well, the Rebbe gave me a letter. Okay, fine. Very nice. I thank the Rebbe for the words in the letter, and this person will continue with his plan, whatever the plan was. This is not the case in regard to Rebbe Yossi Kakun. Yossi Kakun knew very well that in his election campaign, the people that were working for him already prepared posters and flyers. And these posters and flyers were, as the nature that we mentioned before in any election campaign. And unfortunately, it's the most successful strategy that works it's proven throughout history, to go and to print up the blasphemy and to badmouth the other parties and the other people that are running for the elections, and to go and to say how they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they did do what they weren't supposed to do. And this is, like we said, the most successful strategy. Besides the fact that it was already prepared, everything was printed. It was only missing the taking of these posters and flyers and sticking them up on the billboards, giving them out to the public. Rebbe Yossi took the Rebbe's words very seriously, and he came back to his election center, the campaign center, and he told the people, all the people on his team, take all the posters all the flyers, everything that has to do with bad mouthing the other parties, and dump it in the garbage. Get rid of it. They said, Yossi, what are you talking about? First of all, it's the best strategy in order to go on to win the elections. And second of all, you already invested so much money, to go into print all this. It was already in the election, in the election center, in the campaign center. Are you out of your mind? What happened to you? He said, excuse me, I'm in charge here, and the Lubavitcher Rebbe told me to do so. And I raised my hands in front of the Lubavitcher Rebbe's blessing. And the Rebbe said, this is going to bring the blessing of unity, Knesses Kol HaYehudim, and we're going to be victorious, Bezrat Hashem. The people that they're getting paid for their salary, I mean, he's paying the salaries. They didn't have a choice. They went and they took all the material and they dumped it. And as we know, they went out and they started to go into campaign only in the positive vein, speaking only good things, speaking about how he's going to do good for Tzfas and how he's going to do good for every citizen in town. And he's going to make sure that everyone is going to receive whatever they need. Doesn't make a difference from what background they're coming from. Everything that they need. And as we know, after that, against all odds, because people really didn't think that a person that is, he came in, the new kid on the block. No one knew him. And all of a sudden, he's going to go and to take the victory in the elections. That's exactly what happened. Exactly as the Rebbe promised. Knesses Kol HaYehudim, there was an enormous, incredible unity amongst all the Jews here in Tzfas, and everyone rallied around Rebbe Yossi Kakun, who is, as we said before, the present mayor of Tzfas. But this concept of unifying the Jewish nation, bringing about unity, bringing about togetherness, this is exactly how the Jewish nation always perseveres, always manages to go and to be victorious against any and all enemies that, every single generation there are those that stand upon us, that want to pounce upon us. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu matzilenu miyodam, and the Holy One, blessed be He is the one that not only protects us, He saves us from their hands, and He raises us up, and He gives us victory. And now we're asking, as we're speaking, as we're telling the story, that we want to tell Hashem. First of all, thank you for protecting us, and our appreciation for the miracles that He is doing for us, that He's done for us, and that He's going to continue to do for us, and only greater and greater and bigger to the biggest of miracles. We want to thank Hashem, and we want to celebrate, and we want to tell Hashem that we have become unified, and this unity already deserves the concept of the Geula Hashlema V'Amitis, the true and the complete redemption with the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, and this should be b'teiv hanir v'nigla, on a good and revealed basis, mitoich simcha v'tuv levav, through happiness and joy of the heart, bimnuchas hanefesh u'mnuchas haguf, in the manner of tranquility of the mind and the heart, v'eid v'hu ha'ikar, and this is the main thing, teichef umiyad mamish, immediately, in actuality, literally, now. Yechi Adonenu Moreinu v'Rabbeinu HaMelech HaMoshiach le'olam v'ed.